Hi everyone and welcome to the Jeff Buller Show. Today I have with me Wen Trong. Now Wen I've known for quite a few years and she is an incredible success story and a great example of how to actually succeed in three different countries. So I'm going to tell a little bit about Wen and then we're going to have a bit of a fireside chat. So Wen Trong has lived and worked on three different countries, actually continents, but was born and raised, yes, in Vietnam in a poor working class family during the centralized economy period of the 1980s. It was a tough period back then. And her first entrepreneurial experience was when she started selling candy when she was 5. So she could buy some treats for herself. So she started young. Her parents were able to send her to university in the USA during the financial crisis of 2008 to 2010. And she graduated from the University of Missouri, Columbia, and then she moved to Australia with no job, money, family or friends, and over $100,000 in student debt. So Wen has gone on to become one of the top digital marketing lead generators in the world of cosmetic and plastic surgeons. She has a special interest in the aesthetic industry, and you're looking very glamorous today, Wen, by the way. I feel a little underdressed in your presence, but that's okay. So she has a special interest in the aesthetic industry and a deep passion for helping cosmetic and plastic surgeons around the world to thrive and achieve great success in their practices. And you can actually find Wen at her website if you want to check it out later, onlinemarketingfordoctors.com.au. So an AU, for those of you who don't know, stands for Australia. So there may be is there a .com one, Wen?
Yes, there's .com version. We are converting our .com.au to a .com website. It's going to be a global website, not just for Australia.
Yeah, that's why I was raising it. Right? So welcome to the show. And it's a pleasure to have you here. And we're going to dive in a little bit into your journey, both in life and in business. So you're originally from Vietnam. Okay, so that's
yes.
A country well known globally, and
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about growing up in Vietnam, because I've actually never been to Vietnam, and tell us a little bit about what that was like growing up in Vietnam and your first entrepreneurial experience.
Well, I guess you probably mentioned in the intros, I was born during the time the Vietnam was going through decentralized economy time. So it's obviously very tough growing up because my parents had to go through different jobs or different businesses to put food on the table. So, it's not like, not like a normal kid in Western world. We didn't really have a proper education, you see what I mean? Like I just went to village school, which is around the corner where we used to live, and I basically just you really have very basic education, and not until my parents was able to save a little more money to send me to the US so I can gain some more proper education. That's how tough the situation is. So back then when growing up as a kid, I didn't know what chocolate is. So it's like, like all these treats that normal kids would have, and I didn't have that sort of luxuries. And I didn't have my first birthday until I got to the age of 8 years old. So it's not so I didn't get to experience a lot of stuff that normal kids would have in their life. And but that's the beauty of that. So I appreciate life more than normal people would do. So every little thing that I've got now, I really appreciate the whole thing going up. Yeah.
So it's great that you had that contrast, because then you don't take what you have today for granted.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so your first entrepreneurial experience at the age of 5, so you sold candy. So what sort of candy was that?
Well, candy was a rare commodity then, back then, even rice was a rare thing. People didn't have enough food, like candy is a rare thing. And my parents were trading candies from Thailand to Vietnam. So I saw that they got some leftover stock, and I decided to ask my parents if I can sell this one to all these kids in the in the areas that I was, living in. And I made some profits, and I started selling many different things, small things here and there, just to get some cash and to buy things that I wanted when I was a kid. Yeah. And I really enjoy the idea of selling things for profits. And I think the entrepreneurship actually started really early. And seeing my parents, doing business over the years is also another life lessons. And I took, I was being inspired by their journey. And that's when, I don't know when it started, but I guess that was the age of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So things are pretty tough early on, but mum and dad persisted and started to become quite successful. Tell us a little bit about your observation of that and what happened there, because you obviously got to get to America eventually. So tell
Yeah.
us about, so what was your parents' journey a little bit? I think that's interesting to give you a bit of
Yeah,
context
it's
as
very
well.
interesting because they are typical entrepreneurs. Like they've been through different type of businesses that I couldn't even count the number of business they went through. And the thing about them is that they never gave up. And finally, they found a breakthrough when they was in their late 40s, when
Wow.
a lot of people at their age started thinking about retirement already, but they didn't give up until they found something. And now they're running a multi-million dollars business, and they still very much enjoying doing business over there.
Hmm.
And so that's what I learned from them. Is a good old persistent word. I
Hmm.
mean, I learned that nothing in this world can take the place of a good old persistent talent one, education one, genius one. It's all about persistence and the drive that take you where you want to be.
Right.